Another week down to the season, another panel presented by Sport Chek. So we bring in Bob Stauffer and Jack Michaels from the Oilers Radio Network and Chris Westcott from Oilers TV to talk about, well, the Edmonton Oilers. We're wrapping up this road trip in Ottawa. Bob, 2-1 so far in this road trip. What have we seen from the Oilers?
Well, a couple of games, seen some offense, which has been a good thing. Three very different games in a lot of respects. I mean, good comeback against Florida, rallying against a team that seemingly never blew second period leads going into the third. I think they were 23-0. Against Tampa Bay, I think we saw an elite team against a team that is not at that level right now. And then against Carolina, we saw a team that's very fragile because they got the worst save percentage in the NHL. And the good thing that I liked about Carolina is they did an excellent job focusing on Connor McDavid, but the Oilers had some other guys step up, like Leon Draisaitl on his line and Jesse Puljujärvi on his. So three different games, couple of wins, good effort in all three games.
Jack, what stuck out to you so far?
Well, the secondary scoring, particularly in the Carolina game, guys like Drake Caggiula and a couple guys who hadn't been in the lineup. Pontus Aberg had been scratched over the weekend, came in, delivered a goal and 2 assists. Johan Ovitu was playing his first game in the month of March, came in, a goal and an assist, shook off a tough break early on. And Edmonton, really, like Tampa Bay had done the game before, shook off a tough break to start, and then played a calm, composed game and allowed their superior goaltending to kind of rule the day. There were plenty of chances for both clubs, and Talbot was far better. As he's been, really, you look at the last month and a half of the season, and Talbot has been the better goaltender more often than not. And I think that's more than anything why Edmonton's got a pretty impressive record, 8-5-1 in their last 14.
Bob, does it surprise you that the Oilers can put up 7 goals when Connor McDavid isn't the focal point of the offense? Because over the last month or so, that's what we've been seeing. And Jack talks about the secondary scoring. Was that surprising at all to you?
Not if you factor in that they were playing a team with an .892 save percentage. Like, there were some ugly goals in that game.
And he is the focal point. They decided we're going to take Connor McDavid away, and Bob will tell you, fine, you took Connor McDavid away, and everyone else beat you.
They didn't just so they had Jordan Staal center, and they're an excellent face-off team. They had Pesce and Slavin, so they had 2 layers, but they also moved up. There are 2 guys in their second line to play with Staal, so they had a strong first line, and as a result, they ended up losing matchups 2, 3, and 4, and that's where the Oilers drilled them all night, which is what Jack's alluded to. I mean, I do think that might have been a template down the road for it. I mean, both Slavin and Pesce can skate. That's the key. If you can skate, you got a chance against McDavid. And the other thing is they won draws. Now, Connor as the game got more competitive in terms of that battle with Staal in the circle, but the Oilers got smoked early, and it was a bit of an adjustment. We shouldn't be surprised. Carolina came in top face-off team in the NHL.
Well, finally, there's less than 10 games left to the season here. We've seen Todd kind of tinker with the lines a bit. We saw some early signs of chemistry between Pontus Aberg and Leon Draisaitl, as we already talked about. But what are some of the other things that maybe we want to watch in these final 9 games?
Well, for me, I want to watch what Aberg can do down the stretch, and whether or not are we looking at a middle 6 forward, or are we looking at a guy that can maybe play in the second line on a consistent basis. I want to see, speaking of chemistry, Nugent Hopkins and Connor McDavid moving forward. I know the Oilers have the option to slide Draisaitl up to the right and pop Nuge down to second line center, and I'm going to be intrigued to see what happens with some of the defensemen as well. Ethan Bear. There's been some tough moments. It's been a steep learning curve. Clearly, he can make some plays offensively. How's he coming along in terms of transitioning, in terms of stepping up, in terms of quickness and speed to play in the NHL level?
The Oilers are a little banged up on the back end right now. I mean, Chris Russell's playing far less than 100%. We're not quite sure about Andre Sekera's availability. I thought Ethan Bear showed some real mettle the other night in coming back after missing virtually an entire period. Refused to call it a night, came back out and played the third. I think that showed some grit and resolve. So the biggest thing for me, though, down the stretch is if Cam Talbot can close out the season the way he's been the last 20 or so games, I think the Oilers are going to have every reason to feel confident heading into the summer, because it really does start with their goaltender on out. We've talked about this ad nauseum with respect to Connor McDavid being, the league MVP last year, but maybe the team MVP was a race that's a little bit closer than that. If Talbot keeps it up, I think Edmonton's going to feel good about its prospects come summertime.
All right, 9 games left to the season. As always, Bob Stauffer and Jack Michaels will have you covered on the Oilers Radio Network, and I'll have you covered on EdmontonOilers.com and Oilers TV.